Most financial advice gives you an impossible choice: either pay off your debt or save for an emergency. Well, I did both. At the same time. I went from being genuinely terrified to even look at my bank account to having a 6-month safety net, all while wiping out $20,000 in debt. And I pulled it off in just 6 months. In this video, I'm not just going to tell you it's possible. I'm going to give you the exact blueprint I used to finally get ahead with my money. The before story. The pain. Just a year ago, I was living with this constant low-grade hum of anxiety. It was that fear of the unknown. The fear that one single unexpected expense, a car repair, a surprise medical bill, would be enough to completely derail my entire life. I had $20,000 of debt hanging over my head, a nasty mix of credit cards and a personal loan, and it honestly felt like a physical weight. I knew I wasn't alone, though. In early 2025, total US household debt reached a staggering $17.5 trillion. But knowing that didn't make the feeling of drowning any less suffocating. Every single time I got a paycheck, I'd play this painful mental game. Okay, should I throw every extra dollar at this high-interest credit card? Or should I try to put something in savings, just in case? It was a total cycle of paralysis. If I focused only on my debt, my savings account stayed at a terrifyingly low number, leaving me one emergency away from racking up more debt. But if I only focused on saving, the interest on my debt was just laughing at me, making me feel like I was sprinting on a treadmill and going absolutely nowhere. The conventional wisdom from all the financial gurus seemed to be a strict choice. Either use the debt snowball or avalanche method and attack your debt with laser focus, or build a fully funded emergency fund before you even think about paying more than the minimums. This all-or-nothing approach just wasn't working for me. It felt like I was being asked to choose between putting out a fire in my living room and installing a smoke detector. I needed to do both. The aha moment, the turning point. The real turning point for me came late one night. I was staring at my spreadsheet, just moving numbers around, and feeling that familiar wave of hopelessness wash over me. I had just managed to pay off a small $500 debt. It felt great for a second. But then my cat got sick, and a $300 vet bill meant I had to put it right back on a credit card. It was absolutely soul-crushing. That's when it hit me. The core problem wasn't my motivation, it was my method. I was treating debt repayment and saving as two separate, competing goals. But what if they weren't? What if saving wasn't a detour from paying off debt, but the very thing that would protect my journey out of debt? An emergency fund isn't a luxury, it's a shield. It's what stops a minor setback from turning into a major catastrophe that sends you right back to square one. I decided right then and there to reject the either-or advice. I was going to create my own both-and system. I would build my safety net while aggressively paying down my debt. It wasn't about choosing one over the other. It was about creating a balanced system where both goals could actually feed each other. This mindset shift was everything. I wasn't just going to get out of debt. I was going to build a foundation of financial security so I would stay out of debt. For good. The how-to, the blueprint, so I built a 3-step blueprint. This isn't magic. It's a repeatable method, and it starts with a little bit of what I call radical honesty. Section 1. Step 1. The foundation, radical honesty, and the buffer fund. Before I could make any real progress, I had to know exactly what I was dealing with. I sat down and listed out every single debt I had, from the smallest to the largest, and I ignored the interest rates for the moment. My list looked something like this: a $700 credit card, a $2,300 store card, a $7,000 personal loan, and a $10,000 credit card. Total $20,000. Seeing it all in one place was intimidating, sure, but it was also the first time I felt a tiny bit of control. Next, I did the same thing with my expenses. I tracked every single dollar for a full month using a budgeting app. Not what I thought I spent, but what I actually spent. I had to get brutally honest with myself about where my money was really going. And let me tell you, that exercise revealed just how much I was mindlessly spending on things like takeout, subscriptions I'd forgotten about, and those random "it's on sale" online purchases. But here's the most important part of step 1, the part that goes against a lot of traditional advice. Before I sent a single extra dollar to my debt, I focused all my energy on saving a $1,000 buffer fund. This isn't your full emergency fund. This is your first line of defense. Its only job is to handle those small, annoying life emergencies that would normally force you right back into debt. It felt a little wrong saving money when I had all this debt, but I gave myself permission. This buffer is what would have saved me from that vet bill disaster. I did it by ruthlessly cutting those expenses I had just identified, and yeah, I even sold a few things I didn't need anymore. Getting that $1,000 into a separate high-yield savings account took me about 3 weeks, and it was the first real financial peace I'd felt in years. It was my war chest. Section 2, Step 2, the engine, the debt snowball on steroids. With my $1,000 buffer sitting there protecting me, it was time to attack the debt. I chose the debt snowball method. That's where you focus on paying off your debts from the smallest balance to the largest, no matter the interest rate. Now the math nerds will argue for the debt avalanche method, which prioritizes the highest interest rate to save you more money over time. And they're not wrong, mathematically. But for most of us, personal finance is more about behavior and motivation than pure math. The debt snowball is so powerful because it gives you quick wins. Knocking out that first, smallest debt gives you this huge psychological boost and the momentum to keep going. Here's how I put it on steroids. First, I made the minimum payments on all my debts just to stay current. Then, I took every single extra dollar I could find from my budget, and I threw it at my smallest debt, that $700 credit card. I'd already found my spending leaks in Step 1, so I redirected all of that money. No more daily coffees. I canceled 3 streaming services I barely watched, and I committed to cooking at home. That alone freed up about $400 a month. Second, I got aggressive about increasing my income. I picked up some freelance writing gigs on the weekends and started pet sitting for people in my neighborhood. This brought in an extra, say, $600 a month on average. So now, I had my regular minimum payment for that first card, plus the $400 from my budget cuts, plus the $600 from my side hustles. I was hammering that tiny $700 debt with over $1,000 a month. It was gone in less than 30 days. And that feeling? Incredible. I had my first win. Section 3, Step 3, the safety net, igniting the savings snowball. This is the final piece of the puzzle, and it's what really ties the whole strategy together. Once that first $700 debt was gone, I didn't just take that massive payment I was making and roll it all over to the next debt. This is where I broke from the traditional snowball. I created what I call the savings snowball. I took the full amount I was paying on that now gone debt, let's call it $1,050, and I split it. I took 80% of it, $840, and added it to the minimum payment of my next smallest debt, that $2,300 store card. This is what supercharged my debt snowball, creating an even bigger wrecking ball for the next debt in line. But, and this is key, I took the other 20%, $210, and started automatically transferring it to my high-yield savings account. Every single month. This was now dedicated to building my full 6-month emergency fund, growing it from that initial $1,000 buffer. Think about it. As each debt was eliminated, the total payment snowball got bigger. And as that snowball got bigger, so did the 20% portion that was automatically feeding my savings. When I paid off the $2,300 store card, the total amount freed up was even larger. Again, 80% of that went to the next debt, and the other 20% went straight to savings. It's a virtuous cycle. The faster I paid off debt, the faster I built my safety net. My debt was snowballing down, and my savings were snowballing up, right alongside it. This dual approach is what kept me going. I could log in and see my debt balances shrinking, and my savings balance growing at the same time. It was proof I didn't have to choose. Have you ever felt stuck between these two goals? Let me know in the comments which one you've been focused on, and if you think this balanced approach could work for you. 6 months later, the results were honestly staggering. Using this 3-step blueprint, the buffer fund, the debt snowball on steroids, and the savings snowball, I'd paid off all $20,000 of my debt. And that savings account? It wasn't at zero. It had grown to over $15,000, which for me represented a solid 6 months of my essential living expenses. The feeling of logging into my bank account and seeing zero balances on my credit cards and a healthy cushion in savings, it's indescribable. It's freedom. It's security. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing that a flat tire is just an inconvenience, not a financial crisis. This whole journey taught me that financial health isn't about following rigid one-size-fits-all rules. It's about building a system that works for you. It's about creating a plan that gives you momentum for today and protection for tomorrow. You can do this. It takes discipline, it takes honesty, and it takes a plan, but building a safety net while erasing your debt isn't a fantasy. It's an achievable reality. If this blueprint was helpful, do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up, and maybe consider subscribing for more tips on taking control of your financial life. You've got this.